In episode 7, Amy sits all the way in the back by herself. She's pretty scared. Before they get to safety, they have to stop, though, because there's a roadblock. And as they're wondering what's going on, a tank shows up out of nowhere. Now, luckily for Gus and the other hybrids, they have some backup, because Bear and the Animal Army also show up, because a bunch of civilians are definitely going to be a match for a tank if, that tank wants to take them out. The good news is, though, the tank doesn't want to take them out because the tank has Bobby in it. Bobby clears the road for the group and then rejoins them. The man from the Air Lords actually tells Jep, hey, take care of this one. He's an awesome little dude. So there's another changed heart by the hybrids. Bear also joins Jep and the bus. She says goodbye to Tiger and the Animal Army, but Tiger and the rest of the Animal Army aren't done fighting. They vow to finish the last men, this time for good. When Bear shows up at the door of the bus, Jep and Gus come out to give her a hug and welcome her back. They get caught up, they fill each other in on what they were doing, what each of them did to find the other, and then Bear fills the group in on the fact that she actually talked to Birdie. Gus has a ton of questions, a lot of them Bear just doesn't have the answers to. But she hands him the cassette tape and says, hopefully this has all the answers that you're looking for. Wendy then interrupts their conversation and tells them that Amy needs to pull over. And when Bear sees Wendy, she gets extremely excited. She does a really good job hiding it, though, but she just can't stop staring at Wendy. She never tells Wendy, though, that she is her older sister, because she knows that Wendy was a baby and Wendy doesn't remember this. So she simply reintroduces herself, but she's blown away that she finally has been reunited with her baby sister. Jep then pulls the bus over, everybody gets off for a pit stop, and Bear is monitoring the radio to hear the Animal Army's update on the search for Abbott. They've got the zoo surrounded, and they're looking to find him and bring him to justice. While that's a great update, Jep also knows that they're not safe until the Animal Army takes care of business. Bear then asks Jep what the story is with Amy, and he says it's a long one, but the short of it is she really loves these kids, and she won't ever let Wendy out of her sight again. It's worth mentioning that Jep says this not knowing the fact that Wendy is Bear's little sister. When it comes time to leave and get back on the bus, Amy doesn't. She's actually the last one, and Jep has to go get her. When he does, though, Amy backs up and reveals to him that she's got it. Jep's kind of in shock, but lets her know that Abbott does have a treatment plan. And Amy says, I have it, but he killed my boy to get it. I'm never taking it. Jep then tells her that she should probably tell the rest of the hybrids. And she says, no, Jep, my kids just went through hell. Let's just have one last road trip together. Just get my kids to the cabin in Yellowstone. I need to make sure that they're going to be safe. About a day later, they arrive at Yellowstone, and Gus is thrilled. He can't wait to show everybody his home. And when he gets to the cabin, it's a little bit smaller than he remembered. But then again, he's grown a lot. Everybody starts getting to work, getting the cabin ready to live in. That means cleaning the place up a bit. Bear especially is really good at getting the hybrids to pitch in. She just is a natural with them. While everyone's kind of getting fixed up, Gus headed back in to get reacclimated with the place he grew up in. One of the big concerns he has is if they're safe or not. And Jep tells him, you're safer than you were yesterday. The thing, though, that Gus is clutching to is that cassette tape. He really wants to know what's on it. And Richard helps him out with that, because Richard had a cassette tape player. Gus pops it in, and he's able to hear Birdie's voice. Really, the cassette is addressed to Richard, telling Richard that she remembered the last thing she said to him was, I'll find you. And not a day goes by that she doesn't think about that. But unfortunately, the end of the world is going to have other ideas. Because what happened to Birdie after she left Richard was she tried to grab her research, and she was caught by men at Fort Smith. They took her away, they put her in a hazmat suit, and they showed her patient zero. It was Jillian. Jillian decided to inject herself using the first human trial. She figured that it was the only way, but this resulted in her getting the sick. She told Birdie all about Dr. Thacker, and the reason why she's so obsessed with Dr. Thacker is because it's one of her relatives. One of the things, though, that Jillian wanted was to know what happened with Gus. The best part about Birdie sending him away with Richard was she didn't know. But in order to get out of the room, she tells Jillian that she can get him back. And she had no plans on ever getting Gus back. She knew that if she did, it would just bring danger to him. And she didn't want that. But what she did want was to find a cure. So she decided to head to where Thacker was, Alaska. So now Gus knows where Birdie is. While Gus is learning more and more about Birdie, Bear was in contact with the animal army back at the zoo. They were just waiting for Abbott to show his face so they can bring justice to him. Bear then tells Tiger that she finally found Wendy, although she hasn't told her yet. She doesn't really know when there's going to be a good time to do that. Tiger can't figure out what the hell Bear's waiting for, and Bear tries to explain, but it's difficult. Tiger, though, implores her to tell Wendy. She spent her whole life trying to get her back. She shouldn't waste another second. Bear then tells Tiger to find them when they're done. She doesn't outright say Yellowstone. She gives her some covert details that only Tiger would know, but she gives her enough that Tiger at least has the location of where the hybrids are staying. The issue is Abbott heard all of it. And when Bear signs off, Abbott and his men surround the animal army. The two sides begin fighting. It's bloody, but Tiger is able to get away. She's badly injured, but she frantically makes her way to Yellowstone to warn the hybrids that Abbott is coming. So now it's just a matter of battening down the hatches and getting ready for battle. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.